Welcome back to another episode of the Cap Table Pitch Competition by Corten Capital and Forbes Family Group. Today we toast the fantastic startups that have been involved in our Cap Table competition to win £10,000 towards their company. Meet our competition judges: Davina Williamson, Dean Forbes, Shah Wasmond, Joseph Shull. Today we have Prolithink. Prolithink is a training provider that upskills professionals into citizen developers.
I'm excited to be here, excited to be with the other contestants and excited to meet the judges in person. It's always a great opportunity to showcase my business, but also learn from great mentors and a great community.
Hello.
Hi.
Imagine a world where software license waste no longer exists. A world where organizations can utilize 100% of the software licenses they're purchasing and also ensure their employees are fully supported to achieve their OKRs. This is the world we're building at Prolithink. We're reducing software license waste through professional upskilling programs. I'm Dominic, the founder of Prolithink, and we exist to solve three key problems. Software license waste is an important concern for CFOs and CTOs. There is a lack of skilled developer talent in the marketplace right now, causing a burden on their budgets, and there's an underdeveloped workforce that's not prepared for the skills and jobs of today and tomorrow. For example, let's take Sapan, who's the global CTO at PepsiCo. He manages the budget for over 100,000 employees, which is about a $2 billion IT budget, with 600 million being spent on software licensing. Approximately 300 million is going to software license waste because those software licenses are underutilized or not utilized at all. This is a big concern for CTOs all across the world, and not just Sapan, because he's responsible for cost control, resource allocation, and budget development when it comes to software licenses and IT. This is a huge opportunity going on now because there's an increase in IT spending globally, but also there's a huge software market growth currently going on. What we're doing at Prolithink is creating a custom web platform that teaches professionals how to optimize software licenses. We save money for organizations and for CTOs like Sapan. We improve the efficiency of the organization, and because we're upskilling the professionals, we improve the competitiveness of the organization. This is a huge market. Broadly speaking, we're in the IT asset management market, with companies like Matrix 42 actually operating in that market currently. But more specifically, when we're talking about software license optimization, we're in the software license management market that focus specifically on getting the most out of those software licenses. We are a niche e-learning platform, and I'm sure you know many of these tools here, such as Lambda and Webflow and Code Academy, but we focus specifically on optimizing software license usage, which most of these companies don't do, and you'll see the differentiation in a little bit. How we work. We first come in almost a consultative sales approach, and we audit the software license usage that a company is currently using. Then we create a custom e-learning solution for the organization, and we track the progress of this usage and help the organization consolidate those software licenses. There are three core differentiations with our company. We're very niche. Our content is tailored to the approved software licenses within an organization. We're personalized to that organization, and also we're outcome driven, which you'll see in the next slide. Here I have two comparisons between us and LinkedIn Learning or lynda.com. Temi is a product manager for PepsiCo, and her ambition is to become a senior product manager. To do that, she has to demonstrate a whole bunch of proficiencies. Typically what happens right now, they might take a course on LinkedIn Learning or Udemy or you name it, but these are very general courses. And if she wants to learn Google Sheets or she wants to learn Notion, Airtable, you name it, to improve how she does her job, is very general. At Prolithink is very, very specific to the particular role and what she wants to get out of it. Here, the example I have is using Slack. With us, Temi will learn how to use Slack to achieve her specific role in her specific company to achieve the company OKRs, which is saving money for the organization. We are a software as a service based on seat count of the organization. We charge £4 per employee, and this comes to, we have separate bands. So this band is from 200 to 1,000 employees. The average annual subscription for 500 employees is 24,000, and by 2027, we want to target 25,000 companies. Our go-to-market strategy. We have 3 core pillars in our go-to-market strategy. First is partnering with enterprises, software providers, asset management companies. A lot of this space is about the relationships and the networks to actually connect with these companies. Free software optimization audits. So this is to get us in the door. This is to help us generate the leads. To achieve our targets, we need a lot of leads, and these free audits will help us get those a lot of leads. And also cold email outreach. So cold email outreach has benefited us so far in starting those conversations and really engaging companies. To date, we have partnered with universities such as University of Calgary. We are working on their postgraduate program, a postgraduate certificate to do with software license optimization and getting most out of the software as a professional. We've done workshops with Black Seed, with Ignite Accelerator, and we've also done a lot of work with Microsoft and Google communities supporting upskilling programs with their professional communities. And this has led to us beta testing with hundreds of different professionals, hundreds of different students to try and get that upskilling portion of it just right so companies and employees can get the most out of it. And also we have fortunately raised a lot of brand awareness. So we have a large TikTok account and large YouTube account where we are creating a lot of free content, which is helping drive a lot of brand awareness and a lot of leads. We started kicking off a pilot program with a community called No Code Ops. No Code Ops have over 10,000 operations professionals in their community, and we are specifically working with them to upskill their community on Google Workspace, specifically Gmail, G Sheets, Google Meet, Google Drive, and they specifically want to overcome the challenges of identifying inefficiencies and bottlenecks and developing strategies to improve productivity and reduce costs. So this is where we're kind of perfecting our model before we really go aggressively into the client base. The team is made up of me and one of my very good friends, Lola. I am a fellow of OnDeck's first no-code cohort, which is where I developed a lot of my brand authority in the no-code, low-code space. I went through Entrepreneurs Roundtable Accelerator in New York last year, and I'm currently on Neff's program through the Center of Entrepreneurs. The next steps, we want to become a CPD provider, and we want to really encourage, if we probably can't remember, but if we jump back to the competition slide, we were somewhere between institutional and community. There's a real value in getting certifications and really being able to demonstrate proficiencies, which is key to us becoming a CPD provider. We want to begin hiring at least part-time to support the comms and the outreach and our marketing campaigns to really start to engage, to get more pilots, to really perfect our product. And a part of this marketing budget is not just personnel, but it's also the software to be able to do so.
Really, really good. However, I think I understand enterprise asset management, and I think I understand, e-learning, and I understand ROI, but I can't connect these 3 things in the proposition at the moment. I can't connect how your proposition reduces software usage or purchase and waste, whilst at the same time educating a person on skills that they need to go on and get their next promotion. So connect those.
So if you think about an organization, let's just say they have 500 people. They're spending a certain amount on all these licenses, on all these different tools of 500 people. Most of the people in the organization are not using those licenses. My argument is they're not using it because they don't know how to use it effectively to be able to hit the OKRs they want to hit. They know the outcome they want, they don't know how to use the software to get the outcome they want. And we educate them on how to use the software to get the outcome they want.
Okay, so what does the audit do? The free audit at the beginning seeks to understand what?
Yeah, the free audit is really for the CTOs and that executive level to help them understand where the cost savings are, to really push that conversation forward.
You don't take money out the IT budget. You create more usage of the software real estate that already exists.
As you understand, an organization might actually be paying for Monday.com and Trello. Really, they do the same thing, but they don't know. They're just doubling up on the licenses.
Right. But just so I'm clear though, the proposition identifies we have Monday and we have Trello, and Dean wants training on Monday. You're going to help me get training on Monday. Yes. Davina wants training on Trello. You're going to help Davina get training on Trello.
Yes, but the optimization is not going to be the same. Employees are going to end up going one way or the other. They're not all going to split and go to Monday and Trello.
Why won't they stay bifurcated?
Because even though there's overlap for the specific jobs, for the specific thing that they want to do, Monday.com's better, or Trello's better, or there's certain tools for the specific jobs they want to do.
So last question, is there something that Prolithink does that starts to identify and tell the CTO, actually, you've got 500 people split down the middle between Monday and Trello, but we understand actually that we'll be better on one or the other?
And that will be,
okay.
The beginning bit and end bit is less automated and more consultative. And that's where we come in and we say, hey, this is what we think you should be doing.
The person that you're really serving is the software provider, whose software is not being used by the employees. They should be prepared in some way to enable you to provide training that increases the usage and utilization of their software by an employer's employees, so that they don't reduce their subscriptions when they come up for renewal. Because really what software asset management is about is not just getting employees to use the software I'm paying for, but get me to stop paying for the software that my employees are not using, if you see what I mean. And you're not really solving that problem, which is the CFO's problem. You're solving a different problem, which is a very important one. It's just not exactly that same problem. So I would maybe think about a different spin on this, which is partnering with big software providers whose software is rolled out and costs employers a lot of money, but is consistently underutilized. Figure out who those are. There's, particularly in public cloud, there's this wave of public cloud adoption, tons of applications, a lot of money being spent on it and being overspent because it's not being fully utilized. There's now, in the context of an economic crisis, a lot of money being cut on that spending. Those software providers of applications being used for cloud-related purposes need someone doing no-code education to increase utilization and basically improve the business case for retention of their software by their customers. That's a slightly different spin on what you're doing, but I think...
Does that adjust? So if my client, if my client's the software provider, I cannot really say, hey, we don't need this tool, or we need this tool a little less, because actually the real case...
That's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is just ensure that the employer's employees are using the software that they're already paying for. It's not your problem whether they... So you're not solving a software asset management problem any longer. You're basically... You're essentially serving the HR director more than the chief financial
exactly
officer.
procurement and HR. Right?
But you might find that some of those educational courses could be effectively subsidized by the software provider who wants their software to be properly used.
In year one of my 3-year contract, at the end of year one, you're telling me that actually only 20% of the
workforce
that were bought are in usage, and I better go do something about it before I don't get the renewal in year 3. So I agree with Joe. I had the same instinct, which the CFO might not be the primary person, and I landed on the HR person being the primary person, because you're going to increase productivity and output and progression in the organization. Progression is good for employees, it's a great example of that, and productivity is good, for the business as well. Because I agree with Joe.
So in a way, you might be, actually, stage 4 might be somewhat circling back to a more precise version of stage 1. Like it still is, that's kind of where your, I think your heritage is. That's where your core competence is. There's maybe version 1 of it didn't quite find, but I think there's another version of it that could find a market.
Just, I was going to say, just tying in what they're saying, most companies have a minimum spend on training, like 150 quid a head, most, big companies. That's what you should be tapping into, that £24 a head per employee, getting that out of that budget through your HR procurement teams. CTOs, unless you were saying, these people are not using the product at all, so you don't need that many licenses, which is going to have a direct effect on the amount of licenses they buy. But I think your e-learning, I'm really fascinated to see how you deliver the learning as well, because something like that, if you attach some sort of accreditation onto it as well, the employee's going to use it because it's backing up their skill set that's in a tangible way to use moving forward, and the employer knows that they know how to use the assets that they're spending on. So, like just exactly what Jay said, I think you perhaps want to move away from the tech team, your CTOs, and start talking to the HR and procurement teams who are kind of in charge of development of people, because I think there's a real value here.
A lot of different ideas from people who aren't in the space, who don't know it as well as you. But as a kind of presenter and with a sales mind, you got 5 minutes. At minute 5, if the person says, I don't like it, you're cool with it because you know they understood exactly what it was you wanted them to understand. Yeah, I think we can sharpen that. Yeah, nice work, man.
Yeah, really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Great presentation.
Good job.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay.
The process was really interesting. I felt really supported, which is rare during these types of pitch competitions. I think it was great for all the organizations involved to support minority entrepreneurs and support underrepresented entrepreneurs. And really, it wasn't just us competing against each other. We was helping each other. We was really learning, and this is what we really need, not just in London, but in the UK.
Maybe he just needs to
I think
kind of
Percolate.
rinse and
doing
repeat
the
a little
job,
bit more.
You're doing the job, and you can't sort of step back a bit and go, actually, what makes sense? There's actually no tracking. People are just, licenses have been renewed for levers and everything. So I think he's got something there.